5, 4, 3.
Hey everybody, CamiBaker.com here. So happy to be on Facebook Live with you guys. We are getting ready to set up another episode of the Happiness Jungle, and we are here with Tom Maloney and Chris Requena. I'm going to get that right. I promise you I will. And I'm going to let him teach me how to say it in just a second. So we are just setting up and getting ready. In just a couple of minutes, we are actually going to be filming the show live here with you. And so this is just a little setup. Pronounce your name for me. Requena. Okay, good. Got it.
Okay, in 7, 6, 5.
Good day, everybody. CamiBaker.com here with the Happiness Jungle. I'm the queen of the jungle today, and I've got two solid kings of the jungle today with me. A couple of good friends of mine. Tom Maloney, whom I met, a couple of years ago in the Boston marketplace, one of the best connectors I've ever known. And then Chris Requena. I'm going to get it. Chris Requena. Chris actually runs a group that is 20,000 strong in the area, and we've had the privilege of meeting one another and deciding to do some collaborating in the last couple of months via Tom. So I'm just going to introduce you to these two gentlemen and let them take it from here. I'm going to start with you, Tom, because you and I met a couple of years ago, and you've seen me speak a few times. I've seen you speak a few times, and you are definitely the connecting king. Talk about that a little bit. What in the world got you into being such a networker and such a connector?
You can change people's lives by connecting.
Yes.
You never know who you're talking to, what their background is, and what magic happens when two people start talking together. I was at an event, and I saw Cami speak. It was like the third or fourth event, and I saw this woman do something magical. Everything unraveled that night by the person who was actually hosting her, and she came out and she dealt with all the problems. The space not being available, it was a bar, so that we had to work out of downstairs, and she presented. She made it real short and sweet, but she showed so much class to be able to handle that situation. At that point, I wrote her a little acknowledgement that night, and at that point I said, that's a woman I want to associate with and connect with. Connecting, you never know who you're talking to, who knows who, how things work out, that people can empower other people's lives. Last night, actually I connected, I think, like 3 or 4 people to you. And it just, you never know where the magic's going to come from or who's looking for something.
You did. I kept saying somebody needs to give you $50 for every introduction. We just need to be giving you money every time you do that. And speaking of that, how did you guys meet?
Actually, met at this meetup called Revolve Nation. And I'll turn it over to Chris.
Almost 8 years ago, probably, I started attending a lot of events when I wanted to get into entrepreneurship. But my background is in software development, and I've always been passionate about innovation. So that led me to organizing Boston New Technology and monthly events to showcase local startups. And we usually have 7, 8 startups presenting every month, and it's free for them to come and present in front of about 200 people. And we also connect them with the community. We have a lot of partners that provide us support, and we help startups connect with these partners and often, get some free services or advice at least, or meetings and other support that, helps them launch and grow. So that's what Boston New Technology is really about, helping companies launch and grow, and even the bigger companies, because, they learn from a lot of the work the startups are doing, and sometimes they buy these startups. So, they're all interested in joining our community and networking and getting connected.
Well, I know I went to an event you guys had last night, and it was just fascinating. The guy that was speaking was just on fire. Had a company at 6 years at 40 million, and now creating another company, and now he's projecting in 6 years 90 million or something, because now he's gone through all of his mess ups. He screwed it up at 40 million, so now he's going to do it right to 90 million. That was really amazing. So what do you attribute your success? Because there's so many groups in Boston, in any city, everywhere. There's just group. And there's so many that fail and that struggle. What do you attribute having such a huge following and having so many supporters and sponsors? I mean, it's impressive.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, part of it is that, we got started early along with a couple other great groups. Innovation Nights was there before us, also Webino, which is now Boston Innovators Group. So we got a lot of inspiration from them. And we just put together a program that we just continuously honed every month. We always seek feedback, but basically incorporating networking over dinner and usually drinks, and then a program with all the startups presenting their technologies. And meanwhile, they're also exhibiting before and after the program, so they get plenty of chances to give one-on-one demos and talk with people individually. And that format has just worked very well, and we've gotten support from partners every month to keep that up now. We're actually working right now on our 89th Startup Showcase next month.
Wow.
So that's an exciting accomplishment to have run so many events. And I think that it's probably because we just provide a consistent experience. Every time people come, they kind of know what to expect. They know that we offer a great experience for them. So, they keep coming back and they tell other people, and, it keeps growing. So.
Yes, they do. They certainly do. Now, you guys met several years ago, so you formed a bit of a partnership here. Talk to us a little bit about what that looks like. Now, we've definitely got the handshake king and the face-to-face interaction, and then we've got the online presence and all that. Talk about a little bit about your partnership here.
Well, I just think it's a great program that Chris has put together. 24,000 plus people. And Chris puts out a newsletter every week with all sorts of events listed as a calendar, which is really helpful. And I talk to a lot of people. As you say, I talk to a lot of people. So I support this in unique ways when I'm out connecting people and telling them to come, because it's such a powerful group. In some weeks, the growth that's happening, you told me a couple of weeks ago that sometimes it's 100 people. New people coming in to this event. We're in Boston. We're in the Boston area. This is part of the Boston area where we are the epicenter of growth in the world. Look at any of the big magazines and everything else. The number one city in the world for growth is Boston. We're there. But there's so many people out there that don't know how to operate in Boston, and it's not operate, but how to connect and how to network and what events to go to. I went to an event, and I'm on Access TV, I can say the word. Name of the event is Fucked Up Nights. And so I went to this event, and this is about a month ago. So I was there, and one of my things I teach when I'm talking networking is make sure that you look around the room and look for the person that looks like they're totally outside their comfort zone. So I kept noticing this woman wasn't talking to anybody, and she was kind of alone standing there, even though there were 200 people at this event. Finally, I went over to her, I said, "Hi, what brings you here?" Introduced myself, and she says, "Well, I just moved from Norway 2 days ago." And I said, "What made you come here?" She said, "Because over in Norway, this is a huge meetup, and I always felt safe at this event. That's why coming here new to Boston," and she was here, she was here to take and develop her dissertation for her doctorate in helping women entrepreneurs find financing for their businesses. That's why she was here. So she was out networking. She's at Babson. But that's what networking will do, is that you never know who you're meeting, who's doing what, who's going where. And Boston is that keynote thing here. Chris and myself, Chris gets invited to a lot of networking events, okay? And day-long seminars. Some of them, cost up to $900. But they want Chris there because he just brings that magic of Boston around the new technology. My thing around Boston is getting known as a connector and teaching networking, and developed a whole program about teaching networking. As a matter of fact, tomorrow night, tomorrow night. Oh, right. Kimmy and myself are speaking together and doing a 10-point program about how to build your business. And part of that is about networking and how important networking is. Top 10
business networking strategies to 10x your business in the Boston marketplace. Yeah.
And actually, somebody called me a couple of weeks ago, and they said, "Well, give me a statement that you would say about business." And I said, 2 points. Number one, you need to have a story that you're passionate about from your heart. And you need to recite that real quick. And the other thing is, you need to know how to network. because if you don't know how to connect people, you're not going to grow.
You know, I was just listening to Jim Rohn on a podcast when I was working out the other day, and you can appreciate this because we're going to be talking about it. It's one of our points. We're only going to give away one, but it's one of our points we'll be talking about tomorrow night. He says, of all the things that you can do, he says, the first thing you need to do is learn to give a good handshake. Give a good handshake to people. And just yesterday when I was speaking, I said, stop doing this. Just stop it. Stop doing that. Nobody likes that. So one of the things we're going to talk about is a good handshake at the event that we do tomorrow night. So it is. It's the very basic, simple things. And so you've got this big group. We're talking about networking. You're a networking coach and expert and speaker, NLP trainer, etc. Chris, talk to us a little bit about your business. Like, what is it? How do you monetize? What's your business all about?
Well, I don't really run Boston New Technology to necessarily monetize. You know, it's a not-for-profit kind of operation, so it's a way for me to engage the community, to give back, and if people are interested in talking about app and software development, then
that's what I'm asking you about.
That's something that I can definitely help with. And of course, a lot of our startups do need help with technology. Some of them just need help with websites or marketing or any number of things. But again, like I said, we try to connect them with our partners or people that we're in contact with who can help them.
Well, I'm giving you permission right now to talk a little bit about your business because you just look like you know about the web stuff and the software stuff and the app stuff. So who is a perfect client for you? I mean, I get startups, but give me an example of somebody that you've worked with. You don't have to share names unless you want to.
Well, I can at least talk generally. The best clients for us to work with are people who are clear on what they want or need for their business or their product, And if they're not clear, we can certainly work with them, collaborate, and figure out what would be an appropriate feature set, let's say, to launch with. A lot of times we talk about MVPs, minimum viable products, and the feature set those involve. So in the startup world, what we want to do is start with the very basic or core features that a product needs and launch with those. So typically we can do that within a couple of months, and then we can keep building from there. But at the same time, we're getting feedback from all the customers or clients, users that are using it, and using that information to kind of direct our forward direction. So that's kind of our process, to collaborate with clients, obviously, but also their users, get feedback, keep iterating, be agile, and that's a kind of standard mode of operation for software development these days.
Well, I can see why Boston New Technology is definitely a great venue for that because you've got all the tech people. And like you were just saying, Tom, I mean, Boston is #1 city up in, that's where all the movers and shakers are in the technology. It's amazing to me, in Cambridge and, with all the colleges there, the brilliant kids that you run into.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, and in Boston, the expansion that's going on, the event you were at last week at Wayfair in Boston. There's a company in Boston. They're in the prime real estate in Copley Square, but they're taking over that whole building. They're adding 4,000 people in that space in downtown Boston, the most expensive real estate building probably in Boston, and adding 4,000 people. I mean, it's not just IT, or it's not just computer work, or it's biotech also. It's Wayfair, which is furniture. It's all sorts of things that are magical that can happen in Boston.
I know I've gone to a conference down in Copley Square where Salesforce is doing a big convention every year. Huge, very impressive, the speakers that they bring. There's a lot of great stuff going on in Boston. Talk to us a little bit about some of the programs that you've got going on, Tom.
Well, my background is NLP, which is Neuro-Linguistic Programming. That's the study and the science of how the mind communicates with ourselves and with others. And out of NLP, there are numerous processes you can do. There's about 400 processes you can do to help people change their life. Now, out of that, I've built a few different programs that I do for trainings and in seminars. I'm a certified meditation instructor, and I do a 2-day program teaching meditation, starting off, assuming you don't know nothing about meditation on up to doing hour-long meditations. And they're all guided meditations. I do different seminars. Some of them are geared more so towards women. Some are geared towards business. One of them is a well-formed outcome. You can use both for your personal life and also for your business world. I was talking to a fella from Sweden, in Sweden, back a couple of years ago at a meetup event over at MIT, and it was about building business plans. So we're talking together and everything else, and we start working together, and I said something about NLP, and he dropped his pen and said, "You know NLP?" And when I explained my background, it was like, I never felt like a doctor before, but this guy couldn't say enough great things about it. But he told me he worked for Siemens, or Siemens, depending on which way you pronounce the large company's name. But anyways, he says, we use the well-formed outcome every day in all our projects to help be clear about what we're doing. Because we're such a big company, we could have 5 groups doing the same research and not know the other ones are doing. This is a tool for us to stay clear, but also as a personal person. Well-formed outcome, goal setting, and it's meant to take and be in balance for you, not for everybody else. This well-formed outcome is for you. And then I have numerous other programs and seminars that I do that help change people's lives. I do some coaching based on, I'm a certified NLP coach by 3 different groups in NLP. And I one time started calling myself a mentor, but one of the premier people around Boston, Bobby Carlton, we were talking one day, and she says, "Tom, you need to start calling yourself mentor." "Since when?" She said, and I learned the hard way too. She says, "Since when do mentors get paid?" She said, "You need to call yourself a coach."
Consultant.
Consultant, another even better word.
Consultant's great.
Okay.
Well, because you're such a great connector, so you also have a little bit of a program, if people qualify, if they are privileged enough to have your time, that you can actually be a little bit of a person that takes them out and introduces them to people.
Yes, the new program that I'm introducing is I will spend 2 hours with you one-on-one talking about all the little magical things that happen. Like noticing that woman from Norway that was at that event. That's one of the things that I would teach you about networking that you need to know. How do you prepare for networking? What are you looking for? What do you do when you're done? I'll talk about business cards and everything else so you're prepared when you go in there. Because you just don't walk in and start networking, okay? Then I will actually go with you 2 to 3 times and personally be your cohort, or somebody call me a wingman or whatever, to actually bring you out and help you, like I did last night. How many people did I introduce? And my introductions are very simple, but I give enough information so both parties know what to talk about. And then give them a few minutes to take and communicate. But I'll actually be one-on-one with you in these events.
Yeah.
So I'm introducing that. We'll do it at the end, I guess, give all our information and everything else.
Yeah, we sure will.
But
yeah.
networking, the colleges around Boston, talking to people. Somebody from Brandeis was telling me they have a huge amount of students from China, but they don't know how to network.
Yeah.
I was actually interviewing a person to come on as an intern yesterday, and she's from India. She says, that's what's stopping India from really growing. Nobody knows how to network.
Well, let's face it, social media has made us the most unsocial people ever.
Right.
It's so antisocial. It's so easy to hide. So easy to hide behind everything.
And I got to jump in at this point, because anybody that's talked to me knows this is my hot button. Communication, 7% is the words we use. 37% is our volume and our tones. If you notice, my volume and tone just changed because this really matters to me. 57% is our body language. So how the devil do we expect to take and be able to communicate fully by doing this?
It's an emoji. You got to give me the emoji.
You're only using 7% of our capabilities. We only learned how to speak 500,000 years ago. Okay? And now we're expecting that we can just use 7% of our capabilities and communicate. Please. That's a lot of what's missing in the world today.
Well, you know what? That's why having an experience is so important. Experiential time. That's why when we're doing our event tomorrow night, it's not just a presentation and here's a flip chart and here's a PowerPoint. It's about helping people get in there and get dirty, like get in there and talk to each other and actually be face to face and belly to belly, which is one of the reasons why your outfit has been so successful, because like you said, you're consistent. It's a place where there's 100, 200 people that come out. You're getting face to face. You're able to use that body language, right?
That's right.
Talk to us a little bit about some tips and pointers that you would actually give anybody who's creating their own group or wanting to be more successful with the group they have that will help with that.
Sure. Well, if you're just starting out, one of the great ways to attract people is to put on free events. So if you have a free event that you can offer people, they're usually willing to share it. So especially community organizations, it's essentially a benefit to their members if you're offering them free education or free networking or other opportunities. And so that was a big part of helping our growth, was sharing these opportunities and events with other organizations, and they help us put the word out. They all have newsletters, they help with social media and that kind of thing. So we have partnerships with a lot of community organizations, and we help them and feature their opportunities or events in our newsletters and communications. So that's a great way to get started. And then,
now let me ask you though, because people are thinking, well, how can I have a free event if I got to pay for this and I got to pay for that? Maybe I'm not trying to monetize, but I don't want to put it all out there either. You have some free events that are at exquisite locations, and the food is phenomenal. You have people that are donating, a space that somebody might pay $1,000 for, or $1,000 worth of food. How are you getting people to sponsor like that?
Yeah, well, it's certainly gotten easier over time as our group has grown, so we can offer quite a lot of publicity these days. But in the early days, you just have to find out what would be helpful for these kind of partners. Offices like Microsoft, they actually offer space to most community organizations to just come in and just use the space, and it's free. So we started out with a lot of our events actually were at Microsoft. We didn't necessarily have food at all of our events, but over time we got more support. So, you have to look at, who would be interested in the people that I'm bringing together, and then what can I do to kind of facilitate giving them some publicity. Can I include them in the event listing? Can I include them in emails about the event, and even introduce them to people at the event when they arrive? Mm-hmm. So all these ways that we can support these partners that are helping us can offer value to them, and they'll support the event.
So who are some others, and you can chime in as well, of places that, because Microsoft, you're absolutely right. I've done a couple of events there myself. Are there some others that you can name that people might even know around the country, around the world as they watch this that are? Yeah,
definitely. Well, WeWork is one of our top partners. So we actually have our next big event coming up at WeWork in Cambridge on May 8th, and we've had several events with them, and you've run other events outside our group with them, and so we've had a great relationship with these folks. And
WeWork, just for everybody to know, is a co-working space.
Yes. So co-working spaces in general love to host events because they want publicity, they want to attract new members and have people see their space. A lot of the spaces, once people see them, they say, oh, this is a really nice community. I might like to work here. But they wouldn't necessarily know that if they didn't come there for an event. So they like to bring a lot of people on site, and usually for members, they will provide free space, and then some of them will provide free space even for people who are not members of the co-working space, because either we can offer some publicity or just offer a great event to the people on site. Typically, the people who are members will get free tickets to the event or guaranteed entry, for the event. So that's a benefit to them. And there are many other co-working spaces out there that can host events, from anywhere from 10 people up to probably 200 or more people.
Well, I know just last night Tom was introducing me to someone from another co-working space. I don't know how many names we want to throw out there, but this person would give free for 3 months membership.
So
yeah.
that's what networking is.
That's how you
about.
find them. Yeah.
It was Coalition. Chris has got an actual office there. I met the founder of Coalition at the same event I met Chris at, and he hadn't even built the space out yet. And we ended up going over to his space, and we were there till 1 o'clock in the morning talking. That's networking. Now it's to this point, and I introduced Cami to his new office manager, and I said, "You still give him that deal of giving a couple of free months here?" And he says, "Well, yeah, well," and I don't know, you two talk at that point,
Right.
I leave and let the conversation go on its own. But that's networking. You can open doors for other people and it's a give and take. It's a two-way street. So I said, "Cami, you want a space in Boston? I'll present the conversation that comes up."
I know one of the things I like to do is play the "What Can I Do For You" first game. So, in other words, helping people to get those resources. Because like you said, it's a give and take. And so many people are just so wanting to take. Like, when can I tell you my pitch? And when can I get in there what I do? And that's why I wanted to say, no, I want you to tell us what you do. I want you to give us a little taste of that.
And the place that we're talking about is actually right in the financial district, right at the line of Chinatown. I mean, it's a great location. So that's what networking and connecting can take and do around Boston. You never know. And I got to tell you one last story, and I know we're running out of time here. I connected with this woman, Charlotte Cohen, and Mansfield. Maureen Mansfield. And they invited me to an event at Harvard. Went to the event at Harvard, actually got on their mailing list, started looking at their events they have coming up. And actually they got an event coming up in the middle of April and school vacation, the end of school vacation every year. And it's at the astronomy lab. And you actually can bring any age student over there to look through the telescopes, all sorts of education. They've got telescopes that you can look at this, the TV monitors here that are filming out in the West Coast, all for free. But that got known because of these people. And I bring my 3-year-old granddaughter there. And she remembers when she was 2 last year, every detail about it, because you got to look at the sun and the moon and the telescope.
So networking is not just about business, it's about what you can do to bring it into your personal life too.
Right.
And as you said, Tom, we're almost out of time, so I want to give you both a chance to share with our viewers exactly how they can get a hold of you. Chris?
Please join our group. It's free. We're on Meetup. You can go to bostonnewtechnology.com, and you can also subscribe to our newsletter. Again, it comes out every week, has all these great events around Boston and other opportunities for not only startups, but also just regular business people. So it's a professional network, and we welcome you. So,
of course, my name's Tom Maloney. It's climbingthesuccessladder.com. You can contact me there. My website's up there. Announcement for all the events I have coming up. And we'll be announcing in the next week that new program about teaching people how to network and connect with other people.
And I love this. I love the fact that even as a networking expert myself, Tom and I work together. We inspire one another. We teach one another. And the newsletter that they have has got more events than you could ever go to. More events. You never have to go you don't even have to go to meetup.com anymore. Just get Chris's letter. And Tom's got a list too. So Happiness Jungle TV show signing off. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.